Hello, my name's the Mariday. In the last episode we went over how to fit fans into your fursuit. Today we're having a look at LEDs. Welcome to episode 3 of the electric fursuit. Let's go! We've gone through how to wire up a fan in the previous tutorials, and if you haven't watched them I would highly recommend it as we're going to be working on the stuff we've learned. Here's what we'll need for today. A battery of some kind, a wire of some kind, an LED of some kind, a pack of resistors, and maybe a switch. The first thing we need to cover is the anatomy of an LED. Unlike a fan, the polarity of the LED is very important. This is which of the wires is positive and which are negative. The positive wire is the longer of the two. I remember this by imagining snipping off the end of the long stalk and making it into a tiny plus. The next thing we need to know is the amperage and voltage of the LED. Unlike a fan, LEDs don't have their details stamped on the side. However, I usually get my LEDs from eBay, and you can find the voltage and amperage in the product description. If you're buying from a store, then look for the link to the datasheet which also has what you need. If you can't find any of that, here are some good estimates, which is what I'm going to use today as I have no idea where this LED came from. If you're unsure, choose the lowest voltage and amperage, otherwise you'll turn your LED into a miniature smoke machine. Now sadly, most batteries aren't the perfect voltage for LEDs, so we need to find a battery with a higher voltage and use a resistor to reduce it. But what kind of resistor? Well, to understand which resistor we need, join me next week for the first in a 12-part series on electronic fundamentals. Or we could just go to ledcalc.com bibbidi-bap-bop-bap and it's this one. So what have we got here? Well, we have the voltage of the battery, in this case 4 AAA batteries at 1.5 volts each, the voltage and amperage of the LED that we found earlier, and how many LEDs we want to wire up. This gives us a standard resistor rated at 150 ohms, which is what we'll use. The only other thing to keep in mind is the wattage doesn't exceed a quarter, as this is the maximum of what most standard resistors can handle. Next, we need to play the most boring game of Where's Waldo by trying to find the resistor with the matching coloured stripes. You can either do this by eye or use a multimeter set to ohms. If you want to know how resistors work and the fundamentals of electronics, I'd recommend Electronics for Beginners by Afrotech Mods. All we need to do now is wire up the LED, resistors and battery as shown in the diagram on ledcalc.com, and maybe throw in a switch to spice things up. So let's give it a go and see if we've got this right. Fantastic. So far in this series, I've shown you how to wire up fans, batteries, switches and LEDs, but not how to fit them into your costumes and fursuits. This is because your suit is unique, and where you put your LEDs and fans is down to you. Massive thanks to Ruddi, Cyferwolf, Amenophis and Gaurian for the photos featured in this video and their continued support. We should now have a battery, switch, LED and resistor all working in unison. Now one thing I forgot to mention previously is make sure that you can't bend the stalks of the LEDs because they will snap off. Try shoring them up with hot glue. Anyway, that's going to about wrap it up for this episode. Next week I'm going to be looking into batteries, Arduinos or more LEDs. I'm not too sure yet, but regardless of which, thanks for watching and please drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions. Hope this helps. Mariday out.